Hello you lot, Miller Corner here, welcome back once again, and a big welcome to everyone who's joined the channel in the last week or so as a result of the Daewoo Matiz video I did with Mr. HubNut. It's been a really successful video and I will welcome along everyone who's new to the channel. It's been a week since I drove the little Daewoo Matiz, which was the car that was originally going to be the Fiat Seicento, but Fiat then did their own job of it, and I thought, bearing in mind I got quite enthusiastic about it. Oh, what a noise! It's only fair that I take a look back at the Matiz, having now been back driving the Super Seicento for a week, and had a thought about whether the Matiz is better or worse than my beloved Seicento. As we get past some cyclists, because it's a beautiful day, the cyclists are out in force. La peloton de le many. The Matiz is a brilliant little car, there's no doubt about it. Ignore the badge snobbery because we have no place for that on this channel, and the Matiz is a wonderful little car. It's brilliant to drive, it's got a ton of character. I really like it. You probably worked that much out. But here are three reasons why I am sticking with the Seicento and I still prefer it to the Matiz from my point of view as the young youth that I am with my modified Seicento. Reason one is just that, modification. When I finished driving Myrtle and Matiz, I jumped straight on the internet to find out what you can do to modify them, because I was thinking it'd be so cool if you could get some coilovers on it, get it a bit lower, a bit firmer, so you could sort out that top heaviness, nice little zingy stainless exhaust on it to really open it up, maybe even a turbo kit for it or something like that, just a way to make your Matiz a bit cool and a bit different. There's almost nothing about for them, and that is a major component for someone like me who likes to modify and personalise their car. I like to know there's stuff I can do to it, and unfortunately, with the exception of some 30mm lowering springs, there seems to be pretty much nothing about for the Matiz in any way to modify it. There's no coilovers, no stainless exhausts, certainly no turbo kits for that epic little 3-pot. It's not really a very modifiable car if you live in the UK. By comparison, the Seicento might be a relatively obscure small car compared to Fiestas and Corsas and stuff, but there's still loads you can do to them. You can get coilovers really easily, you can get exhaust really easily, and of course a lot of the Fiat parts from bigger and newer models bolt straight on, so there's plenty you can do with off-the-shelf Fiat bits that you can source relatively easily and cheaply. The Matiz doesn't have any other kind of relative cars that you can pull stuff off of, and there isn't anything of an aftermarket scene for them in the UK anyway. I don't know if there is in Korea. Let me know. If you're watching from Korea, let me know. Is there an aftermarket scene for Daewoo Matizes over there? I'll be very interested to see what you can do to make one awesome and modify. But unfortunately, as someone who modifies their car, aftermarket is a big point for me, and the Matiz doesn't have it. Point two is the way it looks. Now, the Matiz is a very good looking little car. It looks quite cute, and it's the sort of car you just look at it and you want to give it a cuddle. It's proof that the same design language as the Multipla can work and still make a car look genuinely quite appealing. However, coming back to the modifying point, there is no aggression in that styling whatsoever. It's so rounded, and I can't quite get on with how narrow and how tall it is. It's a very, very difficult car to make look in any way aggressive or imposing. Seicentos, you can do that. Get them in the right colour, like a Sporting in yellow, you get the right wheels, you get the body kit, and it looks like quite a sporty little hot hatchback type thing. The Matiz, doesn't matter what you do, put the 3-spoke alloys on it, whatever colour you've got, it just looks like a cute softie that you want to cuddle. There's nothing wrong with that, but I like my small cars to have more than a hint of aggression to them, which is why I like the Seicento, because they do, in sporting form, they do look like a bit of a hot hatch, which is more than can be said for the Matiz. God, I love this thing. God, I love this thing. In stock form, the Seicento is a bit quicker. It's only got about 4 or 5 more horsepower if you compare an 1100 Seicento to an 800cc Matiz, and frankly, that's very impressive engineering on Daewoo's part. But with the Matiz, you get the feeling you can work it really hard and rev the nuts off it, and there's no real reward for it. You're not going to get performance for all that work you're putting in. But if what you need is a car to use for motorways occasionally and stuff like that, the Matiz might not be the car for you, because for all the work you have to put in to make it go, it's still not actually fast. I'm going to flash back now to this moment when I believe I was on this very bit of road and I did an acceleration test from 50 to 60. That's 50. 60, yeah, it's not fast, you can probably tell. Yeah, fast it is not. Now, the Seicento in stock form isn't fast either, but it's more usably fast. You can get up to 60 to go on a motorway, or 70 miles an hour quite easily. Because that 1100, it's a chunky unit, it's not making much more power than a Matiz, but there's more to it. There's a full 300cc and an extra cylinder. You still have to work it hard, but you get a reward for that work. And in the Matiz, you sort of don't. A colleague of mine had a Seicento for just 2 weeks. He got it, given it by a mate, and he didn't like it because he's into luxury barges, so it was moved on very, very quickly. But he said that it's one of the most body-rolly stock cars he's ever driven. The Matiz is worse, unfortunately, because the stock suspension is quite soft, and of course you've got a very narrow, very tall body. Oh, when you really get into the steering, it feels very top-heavy. And that's coming from a Seicento owner, that feels top heavy. The Seicento is still my car of choice. I prefer the way it looks, I prefer the way it drives, and I prefer the fact there are some aftermarket parts. There is a bit of a modifying scene for them in the UK, which means you can do stuff to them without having to resort to Google Translate on Korean websites. That said, the Matiz was a proper eye-opener of an experience. It's a wicked little car to drive, it's surprisingly spacious and practical for a car so small, and as we said, you can pick them up for nothing. You can get a good one with not many miles on it, sub 80,000 miles, for 300 quid. A car that takes 4 people, a car that does over 50 to the gallon, a car that's cheap to buy, cheap to insure, and is a riot to drive for under 300 quid? It's a bargain. It's a brilliant little car and I loved driving it, but for me, I've been Seicento since day one, and that hasn't changed. Woohoo! Oh, God, I love this thing. Welcome along to the channel, everyone that's come over from HubNut, and I hope that all my regular viewers, all the ones that were here before the Matiz video, have gone and checked out Ian's review of the Super Seicento, because it's well worth a watch, but it also potentially turned him round to the idea of a modified car. Who knows? Might see some Myrtle mods on HubNut one day very soon. That's if we can tear him away from his Inva car. So, thanks for watching this quick little update on everything Miller Corner going on. If you haven't already, click subscribe because there's plenty more epic little content with this little nugget to come, and I'll catch you very soon, everybody. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.